Alright, DSR, what's going on? Or whoever's watching this, getting into some SketchUp. As you can see, this is the Ultra AC-10. I already made it, and it's going to go right about there, if you can imagine the rest of this mech. I might have to make it bigger, I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, and I don't really like the front profile of this mech, but the side profile is the thing I'm looking for in terms of scale. So, if you notice, the one thing about the Mad Cat that makes it look really good is really small and thin lower body and a really wide upper torso. That's why some people think mechs look feminine, is that you know, just the legs are huge, which is not the case on most clan mechs. They look very masculine, you know. Yeah. But I'm just going to be making the PPC today. So, because I want to do the Mad Cat B the way it was done in MWO, make the PPC. So, first I'm going to start off with how you move the camera. Basically, I hit middle mouse button to orbit, just like this. I'm holding middle mouse button down, let go. And then, as I'm orbiting, I hit shift to pan. So this is makes it really simple to navigate. So if I want to orbit around this and I want to look around it, but if I want to get an angle over here, so I'm orbiting, shift, orbiting, shift, and then you can that way scroll around the entire model, whatever you want to look at. So if I want to get in here and then get up in here, the combination of shift and orbit is pretty good. That's why I like SketchUp. I don't think any other 3D renderer really makes it as easy as SketchUp does. But alright, so we're going to be making the PVC. When I look at it firsthand, I notice several features. I don't want to do the gun barrel because I want to make sure the proportions of the weapon are correct to the entire mech before I do something that's actually proportional reliant like that. Like if you notice, I actually, well, you don't notice, but I built the barrels after I did the gun. I did the main gun first because the scale of the main gun doesn't really matter. Like, it can be any size. It's the barrels that give you the sense of proportion of how big it is. So if you do the main, like the receiver, right, and then you do the barrels afterward, then you make the barrels the size that you want to give it to give the viewer perspective on how big the piece is. So that's something you want to keep in mind. Yeah, I know, it's like going through, but whatever. Okay, so same thing holds true to the PPC. I want to do the body of the weapon first before I do the business end, because like if you make the body of the weapon like really small and smaller than you want it, then you can just scale it up. But if you make the muzzle of it too small in proportion with the small weapon and you scale it up, and then all of a sudden, since you scale it up, now it's way too big, then it just looks funny. So you save those parts for last. So since the PPC looks fairly rectangular from this point onward, has overall rectangular sort of profile, then I'm going to do what's called the golden selection. That's basically the golden number. It's the I don't know, the best looking geometry. And as you can tell, I took midpoints right here because to me those seem to be the main features of the weapon. So like this is going to be the second midpoint, this little thing right up here, that's what I'm going to be making. So let's see, let's take another midpoint and whoops, divide that 2, take another midpoint, see how I'm doing everything with midpoints. It's very simple. And then we go here, go here. I don't really like the way that looks, so we'll go to this midpoint, then to this, because if you look at the geometry, we have sort of a more straight up and down section, and then this angled section, and then a big flat top section. So that's what we kind of got going on right now. And then we just delete all the guides, and there's our geometry. Probably not the most efficient way to do it, but actually I'm going to scale that down a little bit because it's flat actually on the sides from what I can tell. So probably not the most optimal way to do it, but the way I'm going to do it. So, and then we're just going to go X amount right there, because if you look at the size of the arm on the Mad Cat and you look at the size of the PPC, that's the size that we're going to do it. And since this looks fairly rectangular up here, I'm going to do a square. Come on, square. You can see your dimensions are in the lower right corner right here. 574, so we're just a little bit, there we go, there's a square. I'm going to do a square, and then I'm going to do half of that. So basically, I have it mapped to the keyboard, so when I push X, it toggles, it gives me the move tool. Then I hit Control to make a copy. Oops. Just like that. Control copy, bam. So that's my first rectangle. I didn't use golden selection because I thought it was a little too big. And then I'm going to take the this tool right here. I don't have it shortcut mapped because I don't use it that often. So we're going to take this and then bring this down. And if you notice, I had a little blue line there if you didn't see it, and it will just snap to the axes. And then we'll make it, let's just do, I usually try to take squares of things to make everything like proportional rotate. Oops. You hit control when you rotate to make it so it makes a copy while rotating. And then we'll do that right there. So it's a nice and even squared off edge right there. And then we'll take this, make a copy, rotate. Or what you can do is you can scale it. So you can do a completely -1 scale right there. Let's just cut that off. And this is a little bit tough. I gotta take this. See how it snaps to the green axis? And I just do on face, delete. So there we go. We've connected that. Looks a little bit too big. Actually, it looks more square now that I look at it. So we will make it square. Okay. So, and this is just the roughed out model. So this isn't going to have any detail on it. I just want to get the basic shape. And obviously it looks like there's a little nub coming off the end, so I'll make that. Oops. Ah, damn it. Do my copy paste. Ah, what are you doing? Come on. Can't get a good enough angle on that. There we go. It's harder to talk and do it than it is to just do it. Okay, so there we go. And then we have sort of the same unit coming off the side, except it's like rotated and twice as large up and down. So what I'll do, actually I don't like the way that looks where that's doubled, so I'll just take that, put that there, push pull. And so now these are the same size. And since this can be the same front and back. Oh shit, I don't want that. We will put one in the back as well. So there's that. And then since we got the same unit kind of on the side, make a copy of this, rotate. It seems to be the same height, but it's much taller up and down, so we'll actually just make a line, alright? I'm going to make it a little bit taller, but I want to keep these angles in proportion, because if you notice, this angle is this way, and this angle is the same as this angle, but the middle section is longer. And I want to make the middle section a defined amount longer. So basically what I'm doing, I'm taking the height of this entire thing, I'm making a line, right? So you saw I made a line. This is that line. I take this line, if I want to make it 50% longer, well, I just do the midpoint, copy the line, and put it right here. And we've already added 50% to the length of the line. And then we'll take this over here, make a line coming off there, just like that, and then select all the faces on this side, and then let's draw a line. Okay, take all the faces and then just drag it down. Suddenly we have a piece that's 50% longer. Okay, and we'll take that and attach it to, how's that attached? Kind of like that right there, except it doesn't have holes in it. Ah, damn it. Okay, just like that. And obviously, oh shit, those are the interior sides, so you won't see those in the final piece. and you want to make sure your white sides are facing out. That matters when you go to render it. So always make sure the white sides are on the outside and these sides on the inside. Since I don't want to do this again on the next side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a rectangle. And come on, I didn't want to do that. Damn it. What am I doing? I made it inside the picture, if you see. So, and we'll make it as a group. That way it doesn't interact with the lines that we already have. And put it right here. Drag it up. Make it so it slices the model in half. You see how I dragged it? See how I dragged it to the midpoint of this line. And then we'll just go to here. Right-click anywhere. Intersect faces with model. Delete. Delete. Alright. And then everything we do, we can copy and paste this later, make it a mirror image. So that's a little tip trick. Let's just finish this off. Oh, what am I doing? All right. So there we go. We got that, erased all our lines. So we got that part of the PPC. Then we got these two little nubs right here. Normally I wouldn't worry about these, but I will. Again, I'm going to make just that square and square it up against this edge right here. So that'll be my spacing. Basically, since I like to have everything nice and even, I'll put those there. Oh shit! I didn't want to do that. Okay, put that there, and then I'll rotate that just like that. Okay, so how do they have it? You see, it's really hard to tell from the line, but it looks like they're just going just like just like this. They may have actually, let me just scale it up to 1.2. Actually, I didn't want to do that. Let's just do this right here. See, I added 50% to the size of that. And I'll go midpoint. And then midpoint. Just like that. That way it's got some, because I don't like how far that protrudes, so we'll go back it off a little bit. And suddenly we have a little bit more depth to the model. Alright, so that's good. And we just copy these. And hang on, we need to make sure our spacing's correct on that side. So we'll just put this line over here. I don't really see it over there. Hopefully it's waiting for us, and we'll just copy it. And the line is there, but this thing gets turned around really easy. Alright, there we go. Okay, so there's some of the parts of our PPC. Looks like there's a bit of a heatsink here looking thing, so I'll worry about that later. Alright, now we need to get this sort of thing. I'm not sure if these lines are straight up and down or if they're angled just like these ones are. So looking at it though, it looks like they're angled, so I'll do that. Let's seal this off. Let's see. First faces. Okay. That's fine. Oh, shit. Had a little bit of a what the fuck moment there. Yeah, oh my goodness. Okay. So, now we need to make those lines. Now it would seem as if this goes about 75% down into this big component right here. So I will take this line. Yeah, I'll take that line. Yeah, that was perfect. I'll take that line. Alright, we do midpoint, midpoint. So now we're 75. We're inside of this. See how that corresponds with like where this line is right here? It's kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, but I like just looking at it, I can tell that that's how far it is down. And well, actually, give us a different angle. It looks as if it is right about there on that side of things. So basically we'll do this line right here. Okay, so that is the beginning of that, and it's got some other jazz in here. It basically blouses out. So let's take another midpoint there, just like that, and come back a little bit to the halfway mark. Alright, and then it comes back roughly the distance of these two. So, I'll just take this line, make a line here. Let's try that, see how that looks. Shit. Alright, so I just want to erase that. And I have everything set to my keyboard, like the line tool is Q, the push-pull tool is W, erase is E, A is rectangle, S is scale, and D doesn't do anything right now. X is the move tool, and space bar is my pointer. So that's that. Alright, I don't really like how that looks, so we will. Sometimes I like mumble. It's kind of funny. I don't even mean to. I don't even think about it. Oh shit. The reduced FPS is slightly annoying. Okay, let's just finish this off too while we're at it. Let's make that whole. Make us whole. Okay, so we got that part of the structure. It actually looks a little bit thin. So tell you what, I'll just move it out to there. Huh? It still looks thin, but I don't know. Whatever. It's alright. Yeah. That looks weird. So we'll just leave it. I mean, obviously when it's doubled, it'll look roughly about like that. So, and obviously you can put some stuff over it. I mean, this blouses out. I mean, it doesn't. Why am I saying that? It's got like rectangles coming off of it. So let's make those rectangles while we're at it. Let's do a golden selection since golden boy, because it doesn't seem like these are equally spaced. It's just they got like 3 and then one's bigger than the other 2. So that's all I need to know. And we will make it. How big is that? It's like that. It's more up and down. Ah, hang on. Okay, so I can still. It may look a little bit different, but honestly, that doesn't matter. Alright, so now this is just 2 templates, so I'm going to do a copy of that and rotate it so it's even. I might do a little bit detail work here because I do want it to look pretty. So basically I'm gonna do, I don't really know how thick I should make it. How about let's make it that thick. Alright, and we will just take these except for the bottom. Alright, I got this cool tool, it does curves. We're gonna click this and offset's about 30 millimeters. Check. Boom. Alright, I didn't want it to do the bottom though. Let's do this. Let's deselect these sides. See if that doesn't do the bottom. Awesome. Exactly what I was looking for. So I want these like, see how that gives a nice softened, soft kind of look to it as opposed to hard. That's basically the key to making your models look good. Is like I could have, I could have made all this shit hard. I could have just left it as like edges, but I softened it. And this nice, let's get rid of edges. This nice geometry right in here, see how good that looks. It doesn't look that good when you're zoomed up close, but when you're far away, that's like getting rendered. The contrast between the hard angles of the front of the cannon and the soft angles of this right here, it looks like this was cast out of a solid piece of, it was like made in a investment casting, right? And then this got milled out of it with a CNC machine. So that's the kind of logic I use to approach it. But I just like the contrast of the sharp angles versus the softness. And obviously these boxes here, I don't know what they do, but they're sharp, and then this is sharp down here. I might soften this out, but having an overall soft, these angles are soft too. Having it soft looks good, but then you need a little bit of contrast with some hard angles in there. So we'll go back to this, and let's make this a group while we're at it. I don't want this video to be too long, but I just want you to get the gist of how to use the program. Alright, we're going to use the rotate tool, set it along this edge, and then put this edge up against there. It's real simple. Just like that. And then let me just find the midpoint. Bam. Oh, whoops. I didn't copy it. There we go. That's what I wanted. So now we have two soft kind of panels going on here. And I might angle this off at some point. Actually, I will. Actually, I want that to be a nice and golden angle. How's that sound? And then this one will be square, just because the contrast between the angles looks nice. Delete our interiors. So obviously I'll soften these later, but I just wanted to show you those panels right now. So I made the panels. I got this. Let me just finish this off while we're at it too. Herpy derpy derp. Alright, so there. There's our PPC. And I made those a group so I could move them around without having them stick to things. So let's hit explode, and it gets rid of the group status. Get rid of these corners just because I like it being nice and neat. Good shit. There we go. So our panels are in place. Okay, so it comes further back and it has this weird looking thing. Okay, so I'll just make I don't want to do it that way. See, now it's geometry, like deciding how this is going to look is kind of strange. I'll just make a box coming off of it. So we'll make a box. I know it's only two panels, so I should have enough room for another third one. So let's make a line here. Actually, we don't need to do that. We just need to, when we select this, I want to make a copy, and if I want to make the same distance between these two panels, and instead of doing something weird and trying to measure it, all you have to do is click on the midpoint of the next panel, and then all of a sudden it's offset it by that amount. See? Pretty cool, huh? So that's that, and then we'll just can't scale it, so view hidden geometry. So basically I will take this side and then we will subtract this from the selection as much as I can, just so I have this side of the box selected, so I can, because see how this panel right here, it's longer than these other two, so I want it to go back into, yeah, and that's exactly what I wanted. Alright, awesome. So now that we have that, can I still move this? I cannot. So I'll have to, okay, so I have to get rid of these rounded things, so instead of deleting it and then having to redo all the geometry that already exists, we'll just make another one of these things to slice it off. And we'll just do this at some random interval, because I can always get rid of it later. Oh shit, what happened? Alright. Well, I'll call an end to the video right now, but if you want to see more,